I'm sorry.
Dude.
I'm sorry.
Dude, what the fuck?
I'm sorry.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry.
An hour and a half of that?
I'm sorry.
With fucking the music,
I'm
dude?
sorry.
The fuck?
It was an hour and 37 minutes, too. I lied a little. I'm
dude,
sorry.
you fucking lied!
I'm sorry.
You fuck... You know, I thought it was longer. I thought it was going... I was like, you know, maybe we start... You know what? Fuck you, man. What the fuck? I feel betrayed. Welcome to Immediate Review, where we can't see a movie in theaters, but we still review them immediately at Dakota's house. We just watched... I don't know who made it.
It's Rankin and Bass.
And Bass.
The Return of the King. The sequel to The Hobbit, because it sure as hell ain't the sequel to Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so man, this is a this
You know what? Yeah.
So this one's a lot to unpack, and at the same time not like a lot to unpack.
Dude, no, it is. I had to take notes. There are so many like weird deviations from the book. I couldn't keep up.
You were taking notes to the whole thing, so we'll get to that. So yeah, first of all, I've never seen this.
So I actually never saw this one as a kid. I first saw this when I was like, this is my second time actually watching it. I watched it once, and then this tape was half. I bought this tape just to complete the collection, but this tape was halfway through. I couldn't finish it when I tried to rewatch it. So yeah, this is my second official rewatch, and oof.
Yeah, so I haven't seen this. And yeah, so as a first time watcher, like, yeah, this just like, I don't know, it was hard to watch. It was like simultaneously like rushed and like not long enough
and dragged out,
and at the same time dragged and was way too fucking long and was just annoying. And yeah, there was so much weird shit that happens in it that like are based around the music. And like when Sam fucking, well, you know, we'll get to spoilers and stuff, but like, yeah, I just like, you know, there is just a, like, I hated this movie. Like, I did not have a good time watching this. This was like cringy, and the music was bad. The animation was like not good. It was just like what were the
lazy recycled
animation. Yeah, the animation was super fucking lazy. Like, there were sequences of like repeated like, you know, just segments or clips for like all fucking over the place.
2.5 minute song where they just show 4 shots.
Yeah,
over and over again.
Like, it is ridiculous. I have no idea what the animators were fucking thinking. Like, it and there was also like some kind of like weird like religious like overtones like that was kind of,
no, like characters were like drawn like they hired biblical animators to do it. Like, characters were drawn like classic nativity stories, and Aragorn looked like kind of like a Jesus-y type.
Yeah, and like Legolas and Gimli, they aren't in it at all.
Oh yeah, what the fuck?
Like, I was just like, they're fucking not in the movie. And it's like,
it's not even, it's like, you can't even call this like the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
It's so ridiculous. Yeah. And yeah, some things like, yeah, we'll get to like talking about all the specifics. But
doing
like,
a blow by blow, but yeah, your general is just, you fucking loathe
just
it.
Like, yeah, I'll never watch this again. Like, this is just like, I don't really know why people like the other one, The Hobbit, because we watched the Lord of the Rings animated version the other day, and that was, you know, I was surprised by that one. I didn't hate it, but this one, like, I understand why everyone hates it.
Oh, most people haven't even heard of it. Like, really? It's usually the most expensive one out of all of them, and I don't know. It's just so
obscure.
It's so bad. I don't know. Does anybody like it? Are you a fan? Did you grow up with this one? Like, I really want to hear from people who like it. I've never spoken to any, like, people either have have never heard of this movie or they hate it, from what I've heard. So yeah, if you like it, please, no, we're not hating on you, but like, let us know why. I'm curious. Man, this movie is like an acid trip. Like the whole time I was just like, the animators are on drugs. Like, not even in terms of just, the animation style, but just like what type of framing devices they thought would work and what changes they thought were sensible to the narrative for some reason, and what order to tell the story in. And it is a mess. Okay, so I just like to say, someone we know in real life asked, why we're so hard on The Hobbit, because it's just a kids movie, a bunch of grown ass men getting mad at kids movies, and that's why we actually don't review kids movies ever. But because it's like it's like, oh, Elsa in Frozen 2 is so whatever. But with The Hobbit and Tolkien and Lord of the Rings, and the fact that we're just going through Tolkien movies, and the fact that people like say the animated version is better than the live action Hobbit, it's like, okay, if adults say it's better, then we're gonna review it as adults and compare it, and kind of be honest, even though it is a kids movie at the end of the day. So yeah, these are some of the few times you will see us like making fun of kids movies. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same reason why we're really critical about Marvel movies. It's like,
but that's another story though. We got
no, I mean it's kind of the same. It's like people hold these movies like they're masterpieces of cinema. And so we have to judge them as if they are a masterpiece. And if they aren't, they're like, we're gonna judge harshly. That's just our opinion, man.
So all right, we're gonna do right now like a blow by blow.
Yep.
Of basically the general events.
Yeah, just events of the movie and what we think about them, because we can't just pick through it. We need to talk about it in chronological, because it's
so different from the book. Like Peter asked me like 2 or 3 times, like, is this from the book? And it's like, nope. And like just stopped asking, because all of it's just so stupid. It's so clearly not from the mind of Tolkien. All right, so the intro starts, and like the first shot's kind of cool. Whenever they do Mordor, it is awesome. Well, not whenever they do it, but some of the like wide shot map paintings were pretty cool, and like honestly, kind of like similar to what you might see pre-production drawing for Lord of the Rings. It was just like, it looked like Mordor. It didn't look like goofy. Barad-dûr looked goofy. Barad-dûr looked like fucking a castle, and the Eye of Sauron was in the sky to the right of it. Okay, but so it starts with Gandalf narrating, not from the book, and it's decent, and then it cuts, it shows the title card. It's like The Return of the King, or A Story of Two Hobbits. And so what were you thinking at this point?
I mean, it was just kind of like I was interested. It's like the narration wasn't bad and it was leading into it, but once it gets to the dining room kind of section,
the party. I'm pretty sure it's Bilbo's birthday. They're throwing Bilbo and Frodo's birthday.
His 129th birthday. And
they're throwing a party, and they're doing this stuff, and all the voices are just terrible. And I'm pretty sure Casey Kasem played Merry, and it was so hilarious. And
I don't know who that is.
He's the DJ that top 20 hits. Like the guy from, they still replay his, he played Shaggy.
Really?
But, and so the movie is framed after the events of Return of the King. Once they've already destroyed the ring, they're all having a party, and they're like, "Hey, Frodo, what happened to your finger, man? You lost your finger." It's not how they say it, but it's just so stupid.
Because he's like, "Oh, can I see that ring again?" He's like, "Oh no, I've lost it." And he's like, "You haven't lost the ring. You lost the finger which bore it."
And so the minstrel comes out. They call it, Gandalf's like, "The minstrel, come out." And the minstrel comes out and sings Frodo of the Nine Fingers and the Ring of Doom. And it is just crazy. And it's Glenn Yarbrough, who did the music for the last one, the stupid ass Greatest Adventure song. And then it's like, oh, we tell a tale of, I don't know the lyrics, but like, and then it starts flashing back to things that happened in The Hobbit and starts to recap the Hobbit movie and like connects it to that and is like showing off like, we made The Hobbit, this is a follow-up to that, not Ralph Bakshi's version. And then it like recreates a couple scenes from Shadow of the Past chapter where Gandalf talks to Frodo and is like, tells him, what's going on and that he has to embark on the adventure and stuff. And God, face itches. So yeah, but it's crazy. It's absolute madness. And I think they started it like this because basically Ralph Bakshi's version ends similar to how the live action version ends, which is Frodo and Sam are at the base of the stairs and Gollum, and the battle for Helm's Deep is over. And so the book Return of the King doesn't have that stuff. All of that stuff is in the book The Two Towers. And so if you look at the credits of this movie, it says, based on the book The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. So my assumption is they only had rights to The Return of the King. So they couldn't put Shelob in and like confronting Saruman and, what else? The Minas Morgul, and a bunch of other stuff. And so they had to think of this convoluted way to make them go back and tell a story of just a little chunk of what happened. And yeah, and then it cuts to Sam at the base of Cirith Ungol. And it's baffling. I mean, we're 5 minutes into the movie.
So yeah, I think at this point it highlights the biggest problem that I have with this movie is like this is a conclusion. Like this is like the final, embarkment that are like beloved characters, but beloved for this series, but like beloved, characters that we've been following for like all this time. And it's very important to have a semblance of like continuity that kind of follows these characters. Like it's important for us to feel like the characters that we're following are the same characters, and they really don't feel like they are. Like they tried very hard to not make Frodo and Sam similar to the story that this is, essentially following, even if they weren't able to, have some of the connecting stuff that connected the story. Like they take it on its own like tangents completely away from everything, and it completely disconnects you from the characters. Like by the end of it, you don't fucking care. It's like there's no like emotional revelation. And
dude, by the beginning, you don't care.
Yeah, it's like when Sam and Frodo have their farewell at the very end. Like we laughed, as it was just like, oh, like are you gonna come along? And it's like no. It's like, you can't come along, Sam. And it's just like, yeah, because you spent the whole fucking movie raping Frodo. Oh, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So, once again, they don't know how to pronounce anything. They say Cirith Ungol the whole time, and I don't even think they say Ungol. But it's horrible. The movie has two title cards, because after it does this, it then for some reason cuts to more title cards in some song, Roads Go Ever On and On, or was that later? I think Roads Go Ever On and On was later, but it plays a song and it shows title cards again, and it's like, what the fuck? And then we cut to Minas Tirith. Or wait. Oh no, we don't. Sorry. Theodore. I wrote down Theodore, not Theodred. Theodore was in this movie, just so everyone knows. There was someone whose name was just Theodore.
Yeah, credited at the beginning,
yep.
Theodore.
Theodore's in this movie. All right. And then Sam looks at the ring and just is like, I can feel you, ring.
Yeah, he has some narration, like talking straight to the ring as if it's a person, and like, I can feel your pulse, you're pulsing with
Oh,
excitement.
I wrote it down. I can feel you throbbing with excitement. That is the line that he said.
Can't we all, Sam?
So he's looking at Sauron's ring.
Sauron. Yep.
Sauron. And
damn that Sauron.
And he has this like long-winded. He basically is like, Frodo, I must go on without Frodo, and then turns and leaves Frodo to die at the tower.
Yep.
And then the greatest song ever starts. The bearer of the ring, the wearer of the ring.
Fucking awful.
And then it's like Mordor could turn into the garden of Sam's delight.
Yeah, that was Sam's fucking entire like vision of power of what he could become, is like, I could turn the entirety of Mordor into a garden. Behold my power. And yeah, it's like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Glenn Yarbrough sings more stupid songs. Okay, one thing I never noticed before that I kind of liked is they snuck in the Frodo Lives used to be like a kind of early meme. It was like a sticker or badge that Lord of the Rings fans wore. And put it on subway buses or something. And yeah, it was popular in the 70s, and there was just one part where he's like, Frodo lives. And then he says a line, and I was like, oh, they snuck in Frodo lives. It was awkward, but that's kind of clever. It's kind of. Deep cut reference.
Deep cut.
Then they go to Minas Tirith. That's how they pronounce it.
Minas Tirith.
And the Siege of Gondor is already happening. We cut to orcs all over the fields of Pelennor. And, yeah, they're already fighting. And cuts to the inside, cuts to Denethor talking about killing himself, and Gandalf and Pippin need to go save him. And it's like, what the fuck? None of these people have been established, and we spent so much time singing stupid songs with Sam and having like random visions and parties at Bilbo's house, and like the choices they make are baffling.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's super bad. And the orb as well in that scene, they kind of present it as like, not a bad thing that has like corrupted his like mind. And whatnot.
Yeah,
they kind of view it as like a crystal ball that you just kind of, I viewed these things and all this stuff, and they're just like, it's like,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's like that thing's a menacing like thing connected to Sauron directly, and has been corrupting his mind and feeding him false information.
Yeah, the Palantir, as they call it.
Palantir.
No, it's pronounced the Palantir.
Palantir.
But they called it the Palantir. The Battle of Pelennor Fields. Yeah, Theoden and his horses show up and fight at the Battle of Pelennor Fields, and Aragorn's there as well. And so it's like, oh, okay. And there's even a part where it cuts back to Denethor, and it says, he's like, even with Theoden, there's no hope. And like, so Theoden's there. Remember that. Remember that for later. I loved Pippin when Gandalf's like, the Corsair ships are coming, and he's like, a devil's armada. And that's when it hit me that like, why is this a children's film? The Hobbit, yeah, it's like an episodic, they meet the trolls, they meet the elves, they meet the spiders, they meet the bear guy, it's like, it's just like a series of fun, like, chapter serial adventures. The Lord of the Rings, even this one, is just like complex. This one's just complex in all the wrong ways, but it's just like, it is a complex story of war and politics. and they're just dropping Denethor trying to kill himself over his son because their entire city is being invaded by the armies that they haven't established. It's just like, it hit me. I was just like, why did they even try to do it like this? That's why they got Ralph Bakshi to do Lord of the Rings and like made it a little more adult. Is because it was like, this is not a kid's story. Ugh. So yeah, I've been yapping. What'd you think about most of that?
I mean, most of that is kind of just, yeah, you know, like the crystal ball was like mostly what I noticed about that scene, and yeah, that just, you know, I remember quoting like when they get there, it's just like, so we're just like getting right into this, like they just like start the battle of Minas Tirith like immediately, and the elephants are already there, which means whatever, and they you know, like are already wiping out, you know, Theoden's army. And it's just like, Jesus, like we're like nearing essentially the end of the battle, like right here, and we're like, I think we were at this point like 20 minutes into the movie or something like that. Like, yeah, you said like 21, I think, because I was just like, we can't be that much further than this into this movie, and we're like already nearing the end of this battle. Like, what the fuck?
So we cut back to Sam at Cirith Ungol. And they have the two Watchers, which is from the book. They do it a little differently. It's like a perfect wall that Sam runs into, or in the book it's like it kind of freezes you in place. And yeah, I thought it was cool they had the Watchers. They shot it for Lord of the Rings, but they didn't put it in. Okay, and so when he uses the Light of Elendil, it has like a weird little like digital like
super fucking annoying
sound every time he pulls it out, and it's
again, it's just like,
what the fuck were they on when they made this movie?
A lot of the sound stuff, like there was like high pitched stuff going on at the beginning, and it like gave me like tinnitus in my ear. I was like started ringing really bad, and it eventually went away.
It was just like high notes, high sound effects, high
just like fast pulsing high frequencies.
The sting when he pulls it out, it's like whoop, 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 whoop,
Yep.
Like this movie doesn't sound real. This is like Rick and Morty's Lord of the Rings. Like, that's what this is, man. It is just the version that they would see.
Sure, Dan Harmon would do more justice than fucking this.
So, and then Sam like interrogates an orc, which I find odd, and gets exposition out of him, and they have him actually use the ring. They obviously didn't pay attention to the part where it says no man can use the ring, but like basically in this they hold it and then they get all empowered, and it's like the bearer of the ring, the wearer of the ring, and then like, you know, they
like glow.
People
with,
are
like,
afraid.
An aura,
yeah,
and it's like it's like what?
And yeah, that's when roads go ever on and on. Plays, and we see the Shire and the little children running on.
The younglings.
And then Sam goes and rescues Frodo. And Frodo gets mad when he finds out Sam has the ring. Mm-hmm. He gets real mad and almost wants to kill him. And then they hump. Many times they use this animation frame of Sam helping Frodo, and they like will freeze it into position. We're gonna put a picture of my TV up right now. If we can find a better one, maybe we'll do that. But yeah, this frame is used many times. Sam is frequently groping Frodo. You know, people make fun of like Peter Jackson's version, like you know, calling Frodo and Sam gay and stuff.
This is the true gay Frodo and Sam.
Yeah, this is the true.
Like Sam is humping Frodo. Like,
oh, there's no Rosie Cotton in this either.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah. There's only Frodo's Rosie Cotton, and Sam he gets up in that like a lot, and like a lot. Like he's constantly
or he's just groping Frodo and fondling him.
Frodo, and like there's even this like scene before they have to say that they do like the next day song or whatever, where he's just like, no, Mr. Frodo, that's for tomorrow, and he's like forcing him down into his bed, and then they have this crazy like euphoric LSD fucking like humping trip like through their dreams, and it's super weird, and
dream about destroying the ring and frolicking. Like it's just like about how they're gonna do all the stuff tomorrow, so they're gonna. It's like it's similar to like the mushroom trip in the Pick of Destiny, like when he meets this. It's like that. It's fucking super weird. A line I love: if Sauron himself were to offer me a glass of water, I'd shake his hand.
Yep. That's just like, don't say that.
You can't say that. And then what about Gollum? Gollum shows up. Ooh,
the return of Frog Gollum.
Yeah. What's his name? I don't know his name. I'm sorry. I know he has a fan base, but I don't know. Well, no, I know the voice actor who plays him. I mean, I don't know the voice. I don't know Schmeagol.
What's his name? No, but honestly, that leads into what I was going to talk about. He's fucking forgettable in this. Like he has such a fucking pointless part that it does not fucking matter. Like literally, he has no impact at all. And it doesn't make any fucking sense that Sam just like lets him go. It's just like, oh, I can't kill such a pitiful creature. It's like you literally told Frodo to go on ahead because you were going to take care of it, and then you didn't fucking do that. Like, you're not fucking Samwise the Strong.
Samwise the Strong, the
wearer of the ring.
It's so stupid. They pronounce Gorgoroth, Gorath.
Yeah,
there's Gorath.
Yeah, and I was just like, Gorath. I've never heard that before. I wonder what that means. And Dakota was just like, it's
Gorgoroth.
It's Gorgoroth. I was like, oh.
And then we hear the amazing, phenomenal. Honestly, we might need to play a clip of it for like 2 seconds if we can get away with that.
Oh, we can probably get away with that.
Here it is.
Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, we don't want to go to war today. But the Lord of the Lashes says, nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Where there's a whip, there's a way.
What the fuck? Dude, this song, man, what'd you think?
This song kind of blew me away, because, like, it just kind of, like, for one...
It's an orc song.
Yeah, and you kind of led into it. It was just like, oh, like, how about we do something, like, float away and do something not related to the plot at all? And I was like, what? And then you were just like, yes! And then it started, and, yeah, it's just, like, this sequence of, like, 5 clips that just repeat over and over and over again and just get, like for 3 minutes. While this song just plays about how they don't want to go to war, but the whip master's telling them that they're getting whipped, and so they don't got a choice. They got to kill all of humanity, and yeah, that's what the song's about.
And this leads the orcs stumbling upon Frodo and Sam, and the orcs mistaking them. So then this really fucking stupid ass scene. Just the orcs are marching, and then there's an army of men, and they like cross paths, and they're like, "Lo, let us men pass. We are like."
Fucking God.
And then it's like, whoa, why is there an army of men just marching near the Mountain of Doom? And then the orcs are like, yeah, we want to pass or something. And then they start to let the men pass first?
The guys are like, men go before orcs. And it's just like, oh, okay. And they start going, and Sam has to fucking go up and provoke the fucking lead orc to be like, oh, you're gonna take that from him? Oh, you dog, you what kind of an orc do you think you are?
You dog.
And, it's fucking, then they fight
Then
the
they
humans,
fight the men.
And, Sam and Frodo are able to slip away.
When, really, it's like, okay, you know, whatever. You want to make this army of men marching in Mordor. It's a kids movie. They don't care. You know, people haven't read the books, they don't care. You haven't established that, so your movie doesn't care. But like, why don't they just fight immediately? Why do they have to argue over who goes first? And say, like, they just fight. Orcs and men. They're in a war.
Yep.
Yeah. Cut to Grond. Surprisingly, they had Grond. This movie surprised me with the things that it decided to be faithful, quote unquote, to. And Grond was one of them.
Grond.
Although I question, why did the orcs have snare drums?
Yeah, they did have snare drums, and they were fucking racking them snares, dude.
And so they break open the door, and then Gandalf, they try to recreate "You cannot pass," and he's like, "You cannot enter here."
And then we get, is this when we hear our Dark Lord
Skeletor
Witch King?
I think we might need to play a clip of that.
Like, if I can find a clip, I'll play it.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Old fool! This is my hour. Do you not know death when you see it? Die now and curse in vain!
Why do I surround myself with fools? Even the robots are smarter than you!
It sounds ridiculous, and I mean, literally, he sounds like Skeletor. Like, odds are I put a clip of Skeletor next to it, because it's like this is ridiculous, and it's literally laughable, like how like menacing this thing is supposed to be, and he's just talking like this, saying,
and then he pulls off his hood, and he's invisible and has a crown. He's just a crown floating.
Yep.
And then we look into the distance, and what do we see? Rohan has come. Oh wait, weren't they in the movie like an hour ago?
Yeah, and his ring wraiths look like fucking clacky bone fucking skeleton zombies that are on
they look
horses,
like Iron Maiden album covers or something.
Flying fucking horses with wings, like little like black Pegasuses. And there's only one actual Nazgul that the big one rides.
Yeah, at the end. No, they don't ride the Nazguls. They're called fell beasts. The Nazgul is.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't.
You haven't read the books. I forgive you. It's fine. There's a lot of info. I mean, you didn't make this movie. Then we get a flashback to stuff that we clearly forgot because we've been watching this movie. And then we get a Cracks of Doom song. I don't know how the lyrics went. It was a song about them destroying the ring.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, these songs are like so bad and like forgettable. It's like I've already like blocked them from my mind. Like, they're so traumatizing.
And this is when we first see that the goddamn eye of Sauron, that's what you're gonna call him, Sauron, floats. Okay, whatever. And then Gollum comes back, and he's Frogman, and he attacks them. And then Gollum drops a rock on Frodo and Sam and kills them. The end. He should have killed them, but they lived. And then Sam and Gollum have like a surprisingly drawn out conversation about what they're both going to do next.
Yeah, and then he's like, get out of here. and just kind of sends him off. And then he chases after Frodo. And we enter the butt crack of doom.
The cracks of doom, which are pathetic. It's a teeny tiny pool of lava in there.
Yeah, and it's just like, I commented, I was just like, it definitely looks like they're inside an active volcano right now. And it's just like a gentle red hue, mostly just dark and just calm, and just like, doom. Doom is calm and quiet.
So King Theoden, I shit you not, dies from falling off of his horse. And I don't mean like it's riding fast and he falls and it's epic. I mean like he's like sitting and he falls. And then he's dead. Like,
yep.
The horse is completely still and they're like... yeah, Frodo won't destroy the ring and it's super lame. And then he puts on the ring and then we cut away. And then the Witch King comes and fucks shit up. And then it's, oh, hi, Éowyn. Éowyn is randomly introduced as her alternate persona, Dernhelm. They don't say Dernhelm, but it's from the books. And yeah, and it's you know, similar to the books. It's like, I will kill you if you touch him, you know, all that. And then he's like, fool, don't you know the prophecy? And it's like, God, it's so funny that they called it a prophecy, because like, people always take it's no living man can kill me, and then, you know, I am no man. People always take that literally, like, oh, only women can kill the Witch King. Like, it's supposed to just be ironic because she wasn't allowed to fight in war and she killed the Witch King, and like, it's just no one ever got close to killing a Witch King. It has no truth to it. And so most of the time people just misunderstand the metaphor and take it literally. But this literally is like, don't you know the prophecy? And I'm just like, fuck off, Jesus. So yeah, they do the I am no man. She reveals her hair. And she beheads the invisible man, who then deflates. And then it's, oh, hi, Aragorn. Who shows up.
Yep, he shows up and all the orcs run.
They all run because they're just so shocked that he showed up. Then there's a Lose of the War song. And they all march to the Black Gate. And I appreciated that they used the phrase Towers of the Teeth. We get the Mouth of Sauron.
It was just a dude, and when Aragorn's like, yeah, you're just a man, he's like, oh, and just runs away.
And then it cuts to back. Peter had asked, he was like, why did they edit it this way? Like, they showed Frodo saying he doesn't want the ring, and then like a bunch of stuff has happened. And then it cuts back to Frodo and Sam, and it's like, Sam searched for Frodo for many days. And we're just like, what? And then, dude, why does Frodo have 9 fingers? Because Gollum bit it off.
Dude, that's why he has 9 fingers. We finally figured it out after an hour and a half of waiting. And he bites it off, and then Gollum just kind of falls into the lava.
That's what happens in the book, dude. He jumps up and down a couple times and just falls in on accident.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's him and Frodo do not have their tussle like they do in the film version. Yeah, it's of course could still be done much better. Like, it's this movie, he like literally just is running forward and falls off. In the book, it's more like he like does a 1, 2, oh shit, like in celebration. Mm-hmm. But still, I prefer Frodo kind of going after him.
And then, once he gets the finger bit off, Frodo's like, oh, it's better this way. Better than having that, you know, like whatever word he used to describe the ring, you know. But it's just like him getting his finger bit off wouldn't break the spell, you know. It's like, oh, I'm not wearing it anymore. I'm free. It's like, no.
And then we get a horrible lava chase where they're running.
Die well, Sam!
That was fucking hilarious. Frodo tells Sam to die well. And then we get the end of the ring, the return of the king.
Fucking terrible song. Aragorn returns to minus tier ass.
And it goes on. Y'all motherfuckers made fun of Peter Jackson. This goes on and on. It is weird how much it goes on. And there's nothing to resolve. Like, it's celebrating the shit out of Aragorn being king, even though he's said 2 lines.
Yeah, he has not had a presence in this movie.
It not only shows him for like 4 minutes, but it shows fucking Frodo staring at him for a minute straight, and then like shows him talking to little kids, and it just
they have this whole like parade scene where he's like walking through Minas Tirith, and everyone's just like looking over down at him, and Gandalf's like, oh, like standing there, and it's just like, this is like, you guys don't know this person,
and it just keeps going, and then it cuts back to our shitty framing device of Bilbo's party. We're hearing a story, and
Bilbo's not even fucking listening!
And he's not listening! He's sleeping! What is this movie?
And it's like, now we all know. And then, the bard finishes with Frodo of the Nine Fingers.
Frodo of the Nine Fingers.
And
the Ring of Doom.
Yeah, then it's like, yep, we're going to
the Grey Havens.
Yeah, we're going to Grey Havens.
And then they literally spend just about as much time as the actual movie does at the Grey Havens. Again, after all this stuff, except it's not earned. And
yep, and Sam's just like, could I come too so I can grope you more, Frodo? And Frodo's like, no way. You got to stay here. You find yourself some rosy cottons or whatever. But yeah, you ain't following me. Take this book. Yeah, write the book of the Hobbits. That's what you should do. Get your rapey hands away from me.
Dude, this movie hurts my brain, man. Like, I don't know, man. It's just it baffles me.
I mean, at least people don't like it.
It's true. It's very true.
Because, I mean, if this was like, this is the true representation of Return of the King, Peter Jackson's version is really bad and doesn't have the song Samwise the Strong, so therefore, 1 out of 10, fucking worst movie ever.
Nobody would think that. What?
It's like, maybe they would.
Man.
If you hate Peter Jackson, watch this movie and then let us know how bad Peter Jackson's
honestly,
is in comparison.
For real, man. And I think that's because I did watch this, because I got no problem with what they did in the Hobbit movies, and I did watch this before that, and that probably helped temper things. I don't know. It's just like this movie it's nuts.
Yeah, this one's bad.
Worst one for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Hobbits coming in second, and then Lord of the Rings is like genuinely the best.
Hobbit's at least mercifully short. Like, it feels a little longer, but it's like it's pretty.
I mean, it's more bearable than this one. Like, but that one too, I was just like, I don't want to really watch this.
Well, and the Hobbit's got fucking slices and chunks of Tolkien throughout it.
Yeah.
Where like Return of the King, there are a couple lines it's odd, like the lines they do choose that are straight from the book often are like really iconic lines from the movie.
Yeah, it was interesting.
The live action movie. Just like, I'm glad to be with you, Samwise, here at the end of all things. Like, it's every once in a while, in the midst of this just glorious stupidity, they would just verbatim quote some of the best lines from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. And, like, yeah, there were, like, some bits that you could tell that were from the book that were, like, okay, like, that's from the book. But then there were other stuff that was just like, what is this? Is this from the book? And you're just like, nope. But other stuff, you were like, oh, they included this and, had this here and, things like that. But Yeah, for the most part, I'd say just like overall, like just a negative experience watching this one. It was not very fun.
It's one of the worst adaptations ever made. And what's hilarious with the fact that they thought that they couldn't tell Shelob's story and stuff, the Return of the King has appendices, and the appendices breaks down every event in Fellowship and Two Towers. So based on those single sentences alone, they could have included Shelob and all of that stuff. They just didn't bother to think about that. Because that's how The Hobbit's able to include a lot of the historical stuff, is because it's all in the appendices. Same with The Lord of the Rings as well. Yeah, I bet they wish they knew that. And what did the studio think? Because it was like, oh, Rankin and Bass, we made our kids movie. Now let's upgrade to the adult Lord of the Rings. Let's get that risque director Ralph Bakshi to do it. Oh, it's a modest hit. But he doesn't want to work with us again. Let's bring back Rankin and Bass, and then this is what they deliver? Like what did people think? Again, if you're still watching this, do you like it? Like, are you a fan of it? I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's definitely like baffling. And that like somebody could deliver this as like a finished product and be like, "Yep, there's my movie. I did it." It's like, yeah.
It's Rankin and Bass, I'm pretty sure, did a lot of the the stop motion animation, that like I'm Mr. White Christmas stuff. That they play every year.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and stuff. I'm too lazy to reach over and look it up, so correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah.
Do we need to have a Rankin and
No. I don't like those Christmas movies. Everyone thinks I'm soulless for it, but I do not like those stop motion Christmas movies.
Well, what do you guys want? Comment below if we need to watch Rankin and Bash movies.
No, man, Kongathon, push for that.
We'll call it the Rankin Bash.
Now, I tolerate these two movies because they're Lord of the Rings, and I can compare them and laugh at them and be shocked at them and have a little cleanse from seeing the good movies so many times. Like, you gotta, like Star Wars, like every 5 years you gotta watch the holiday special just to remember how bad things really got. And yeah, the Rankin and Bass Lord of the Rings and Hobbit films, they're the holiday special of it. Of the franchise. I don't know.
I think that's a good place to send it off.
Up next is An Unexpected Journey. We're getting into the movies that we enjoy. We're gonna talk about why we think it's the fucking shit and it gets too much hate. So comment down. Let us know what you want us to review while the theaters are closed.
And we'll see you for Peter Jackson's Hobbit.
Yep.